Welcome to my show, Cat Unmuted. If you like what I share, feel free to like and share my show and the video. Today I wanted to talk about muscle memory in continuance to my last episode. I said I was going to get more into muscle memory, cellular memory, in the sense of what I learned as a massage therapist. But there's something I want to share before I go into that because I did watch my last episode and the episode before that, I think. I just randomly picked an episode and watched it, but there was so many pauses. There was so many, not just pauses, they were long pauses, right? And a lot of uhs and ums and just like, I probably could have condensed that video down to like 15, 20 minutes, as much as I had in there, the pauses and the ums and the ahs. So, but the thing is, I couldn't really help that. And I, like, where should I start? I'm doing I'm doing this video. I started doing these recordings for me, and I I have stage fright. I have imposter syndrome, um and I've tried recording so many times in the past, and this is the first time I have continued recording for the first time without fail and not feel icky about it. And the way I'm showing up is just rambling and babbling off on a topic that I've chosen. And if you have watched any of them or all of them all the way through, I appreciate you so much. Because while I was watching it, I was like, man, like it is hard to watch. Like I had to play a game while I was listening. Um, so I appreciate it if you have. I appreciate you. But I don't blame people who have not. But again, I'm doing this for me. And why am I doing this for me? Because I've always had stage fright. I've had um, imposter syndrome, and that kept me from writing any books, recording in any way or form, even if it's just for like a short video for TikTok or Facebook or Instagram or whatever. Like even voices, like I had a hard time doing that. And I think that's why I enjoyed karaoke so much back in the day. Well, I still love karaoke today, which I need to get back into that. I haven't sang in a microphone for a long time. Anyway, I um I'm not most people who have imposter syndrome or stage fright, they have an issue with basically being judged by others, right? Like when somebody watches my video, what are they going to think of me? Who do I think I am to 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 think I have something to share? Who do I think I am that I can help people? Uh, like all these thoughts I do not have. What I do have is there's no name for it, but it's very specific. It's an My fear is based on being caught in a lie I did not tell. I'm not going to get into specifics about that. Yeah, that is my past trauma that I have carried into adulthood, and I am just now tackling this fear. Um, I have tried, like I said in the past, to conquer this fear, but if I start recording, I like the perfectionist in me will show up and try to take control. And the way it would look is I'll have a list of like topics I want to hit or exactly what I want to say word by word on a piece of paper, whatever, and I'll read uh, through it, but, or even just, by memory. But the moment I see even a little bit of a flaw, I stop it. I'm like, nope, can't use that one. And then I'll do it again. Nope, can't use that one either. And I'll just keep going. It's like a vicious cycle that I keep going through. And finally, I'll just stop, or I'll force myself to to um, share one video or two or three, but then I don't do it again because I've been uncomfortable doing it. And somehow I have been able to continue this one every week, which is surprising to me because of how, like, because I tried doing videos on TikTok, and which it was kind of fun, but I'm so inconsistent with it. And I've tried doing little bits every day on social media, and I'm so inconsistent with it. And somehow this is the first thing since I quit my massage therapy or shut down my massage therapy business that I've been consistent with something. And I don't want to stop that. If it takes me to ramble and babble on about some random subject, so be it. And if you love what I talk about and how I talk about it, great. I love you for that. But um, if anybody's looking for perfection, for like information about self-awareness and self-growth and self-development and all that stuff, this is the place for you. But you might not like the way I talk because I have too many spaces in between thoughts, too many pauses, too many ums and uhs. Like everything out there today has this like instant gratification, right? Like you're completely talking in a nonstop way, and then you can edit it to where you can do that just to keep somebody's attention. If I can't do that, I can't do that. There's a whole world out there of different kinds of people, and I am only looking for the people who are willing to watch through my videos just because. So, whatever that means. Like, if you like, if it's the topics that you like hearing from me, or whatever the case is, like, if you're listening, I love you. I love you for it. So, um, my whole journey with this thing. I was supposed to talk about muscle memory today, but I think I'm just going to stick with this subject because, right? Like I clearly have a lot to say about it because it's already 8 minutes in. So when I truly started um, challenging this part of me, I had just started massage therapy, and I was telling myself I had to, absolutely had to start newsletters every month for my clients, right? And I found myself scared of writing because uh, even if it wasn't scary, it was like there was a very high level of discomfort. And so I would find myself typing up something that would show that I'm the professional here. I'm sharing knowledge as a massage therapist. I am sharing stories of me with a client to give you examples, and whatever the case may be. All these whatever syndromes of the body, and what you can do, or what I can do, or what you can do at home, and all these little things. And I felt like I had to be the professional of massage therapy, of the body, of the anatomy, of the muscle manipulations. I thought I had to be the professional. And that became such a heavy weight in my brain and on my shoulders that I might write one or two, and I'm like, man, I'm done. And then it'll be months before I write my next one. And like it was taxing to my brain and my energy. Like it took everything out of me, you know? And so like I was still trying. I think I found um one of the insurances that I had to get, um the same company, I think. I can't remember. Well, yeah, it's the same. It's a massage uh professionals company that provides insurances and stuff, but they also provided newsletters for free. Like, oh, you can just copy and paste this and take that off your table. I took advantage of that. And but because they were not my words, I wasn't comfortable with that either. Like, what newsletters should be more personal, right? Like that's how I felt about it. So I uh, decided to write it on my own. I did steal those newsletters for a little bit and decided against it. And so newsletters were it wasn't consistent. It wasn't done enough. So then 2020 comes around and I tried writing my first book during the pandemic. Uh, and it was going to be my memoir from my childhood to share my experiences in Japan. And I opened so many cans of worms, so many. And to the point where I had to seek out, um, uh, at the time I really wanted a hypnotherapist because what I thought I needed was to remember correctly. What I didn't know was I was only emotionally dissociated. I say only, that's a pretty big situation too. But the point is, I opened so many cans of worms I even know about until I saw this hypnotherapist. And he was able to have let me like or help me. Uh, it's not the memories that I couldn't remember, so to speak. What my brain buried was not the memories, but the emotions. And so my emotions were completely detached from my memories. That's why I always thought I was over the trauma because I was able to talk about it without crying and share whenever I wanted to without the emotional uh, thing to it, right? Um, but in all reality, my brain had severed the emotional component away from my memories. So that's why. So that was a can of worm I didn't know existed. So I had to deal with that, with the therapist's help, of course. And after the pandemic, I stopped seeing him because I couldn't really afford it anymore. But it was just enough for me to understand what happened to me. And the book was hard to write. I have not finished it yet. I do plan on finishing it now that I know how to write that. Not that I know how to write it, but I know how to deal with the emotions as they come. So I think it'll be a lot easier for me to be able to write this. Uh, so that's in my projects. Um, but after I started learning about me more uh, and I didn't write the book, but I was trying at the time. But because I tried, going back to my massage therapy business, I started thinking to myself, I'm like, newsletters, I don't have to be a professional per se, right? Like, I could just share me because I'm already doing the work with them. They don't need me to be a professional on newsletters. Like, I can share stuff, sure, but why can't I talk about whatever that hell I want to talk about? What is it that I want to talk about that I can talk about for hours and days? And so I went with that. Whatever it was I wanted to talk about was what I was going to talk about. I became more consistent. There may have been like a very small handful of months I did not write, but it was few and far between at that point. I always had something to say. So I started sharing me, my stories, my connections in the sense of uh, uh, where I lived and what I went through with friends and families or whatever that would be an interesting story, a positive impact, or something that will make you think. So I started doing that, and I again I found myself always writing, and then because I started sharing my experiences as opposed to trying to be a professional and being a perfectionist, a lot of my clients were reading my newsletters. And that was the turning point for me. I was like, wow, people are reading my shit. Like before, I was so scared about not being the professional on in my newsletters, but turns out connecting with my clients through newsletters was ultimately where I should have been. Being a professional could have been just strictly in person while I was working on them, which is perfectly fine, right? And if there is something I wanted to share professionally, I could. And I did. Just wasn't every month. So, with that said, I was able to keep consistent with that and thinking about it in terms of that with my recordings. That's what I started doing. Like, I would pick a topic and I'll talk about it, but without the perfectionist in me coming out. So, in order for that to be successful, I cannot write things down. I cannot pick up that fucking pen and paper. I cannot do it. I just need to pick a topic and talk about it, ramble, babble on the in whatever way or form it comes out of my mouth. And without watching the recording, I publish. Scary things, but it's working for me. Like I'm basically doing this for me, finding the comfort in talking to a camera and potentially the whole fucking world without being scared of what live people will find that I didn't tell. You know? So if you're watching, great, I love you for it. But if you're not watching, don't blame you. I found myself boring, you know? But the important thing is, I'm making it happen. I'm publishing it into the world, not caring how people take it, not caring. I don't need the perfectionist, the control freak to come out and take over. So when that happens, ain't shit happening. So, um, I don't know if I've already talked about my mentor yet, but she has been wanting me to mentor with her on how to do videos. And I had to tell her I can't do that because if I do, the perfectionist in me is going to pop right back out. It's going to take control and this will stop. I want to find me comfortable. I want to find me in the future where I have grown from this. I want to, I want my future me, the one that's able to share her story online so freely, to look back on this day and be like, man, I've come a long way. These recordings fucking suck. But look at me now. right? That's what I'm hoping for and that's what I wish for. And the only way to get there is to start somewhere, even if it's messy. And this is my messy. So, again, if you're watching it all the way through, I so appreciate and love you guys for it. Um, like I said, I was supposed to go through a thing, which actually some of the stuff I'm talking about can actually be connected to the topic I was supposed to cover, which is muscle memory, right? So, so as a massage therapist, let me drink some water real quick. Hold on. As a massage therapist, and I noticed this when I started talking to friends after I shut my business down last year, and I stopped massaging at the end of April. So starting May, I stopped massaging and pursued writing. And what I have noticed is that I have conditioned myself to basically think more than talk. Because when you're massaging, my goodness, when you're massaging, a lot of the times you are quiet because you're trying to feel into what's happening in the body, right? But also you have talkative clients, which I'm a talker, so it's really easy for me to just go into the talking mode. But I'll talk, but then I'm massaging at the same time. So like the wheels in my brain go a little slower, and I did that for 9 years. So I'm massaging, I'm talking, like I'm letting the words flow out slowly, in a sense, naturally, as I'm massaging them. And whenever I get to a spot where I'm like, we need to concentrate on this spot, and therefore we're going to stop talking, or at least talk about the arm that I'm massaging, so that we can put some attention to the area. And I I think that kind of transferred into my current life as a person that doesn't massage anymore. Because whenever I'm talking to friends and doing these recordings made it even more obvious that like my silences are often, some of them are kind of long, and it's kind of often. And I find myself saying and ums and filler words, right? They are words that are not necessary, but I'm filling the silence. I don't necessarily have awkward silence, so it doesn't feel awkward to me. But whenever I know I'm doing it, I'm like, man, that video is gonna suck, you know? But that's just how it is working for me right now. This is how I naturally show up. This is how I am. But hopefully, as I do this more often, I'll get to a point where I can speak more as opposed to thinking more. You know what I mean? Like, because I don't necessarily think I'm thinking deeply. I'm just thinking, and I got into the habit of thinking in silence, so to speak. You know? So hopefully that goes away. Hopefully my thinking will be quicker rather than slower, because I'm no longer massaging. I don't need to have that long anymore. So yeah, like interesting how uh, conditioning, what it does to you. You know what I mean? So I think I'm gonna end that thought there. Like, what are you conditioning yourself to get used to? And if it is this easy for me to be able to condition myself to being okay with silence and thinking long, even when I'm recording and I think it looks shitty, we can condition ourselves to be something else. Who do you want to be? What do you want to condition yourself to be able to do? And I'm not talking about learning new skills. This is a form of skills, but this is kind of the same concept of learning to love coffee, right? At some point, we learned how to learn, or we learned how to love coffee. Because I remember as a kid drinking coffee for the first time. I was like, what the fuck is this? It's nasty. But somehow I drank it enough with coworkers to the point where I fell in love with that black coffee. This was back in Japan. I have not found a black coffee in the United States that I love yet. And I loved it so much, I became a coffee drinker. And I labeled myself, I love coffee. That's me. But we don't have to love coffee. We can love coffee and still drink other things. So, as little as that is a conditioning, you have conditioned yourself to love coffee. And because you love it so much, you would rather just stick with it as opposed to learning to see if you would even like other things. Yeah. What can conditioning do for you? Right? All right. I think I'm going to leave that thought on. And I will go back to my muscle memory and conditioning, cellular memory, whatever, in the next episode next week. So I'll see you then. Like and subscribe if you like what I talk about, and I'll see you next week.